What's happening, everybody? Tyrone Bowman live. I'll get this lighting together back here. Major events are on the horizon. Starting tomorrow, around the nation, gubernatorial races, representative races, congressional races, and also district attorney races are happening. So I call this program the Candidates Forum today. And what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be going into the various states with some factual information behind me as well. And I'm going to talk about what's at stake, what's on the line. Tyrone Bowman live. I'm your boy, Tyrone. What's happening, Bobby? I'll see you out there. Welcome to the program, everybody. So what I'm going to do, let me go over here and kind of get my statistical information. And as I said in the caption, I will be gathering information from various news outlets, news sources, from the social media as well. Let me tell you what's at stake, ladies and gentlemen. Make no mistake about it. Your voice, your vote matters. How do you know that it matters? Because they're doing everything that they possibly can to stop you from voting. That's how you know your voice matters. If your voice didn't matter, why would they be spending hundreds of millions of dollars to discourage you not to go to the polls? Intimidation, threats, vile threats in some instances, are trying to discourage people from exercising their constitutional right to vote. And when individuals feel as though that their vote does not matter, they got you. How do they get you? Through discouragement, the fear tactics. So going into tomorrow's election, be aware, be informed, make sure that you're not becoming duped from the same voices of opposition and political obstruction. So the first story I'm going to talk about is recorded by The Hill. They call it The Hill because I think individuals, the reporters, they actually go to The Hill. You have gubernatorial races taking place. And when gubernatorial races take place, you only basically have one choice. Either you're going to elect a Democrat or a MAGA Republican. And I'm going to tell you what the difference is between the Democrats and the MAGA Republicans. Something you need to know. Don't listen. I want to talk to my people for a moment. And I'm going to be very direct to Black America. And I want you to listen up. Don't be deceived and don't make the same mistakes now. Let me take these out of my ear. Don't make the same mistakes now that you made before. You were duped and you were deceived. Do you know in this last presidential election, over 2+ million people voted for the current president? And many of them were angry Black men because they didn't like Kamala Harris. They didn't like Vice President Harris because they said that she was responsible as the Attorney General in California for locking up Black men more than anyone else. And they knew that was a lie. She didn't do any better or any worse than the Attorney Generals who came before her. Black people have been locked up in San Quentin in California forever and a day, and that's one of the largest state penitentiaries in the nation. She didn't put them there. She did what she was supposed to do as Attorney General, uphold the Constitution of the United States. So their dissatisfaction, their hatred, their bitterness, their venom, He took it out on her and decided, you know what, I'm going to vote for the other guy because I just don't like her. Well, they should have asked themselves the question, why would you not like her? Because she was a female? Well, here are the key races to watch in Tuesday's off-year elections. Traditionally and historically, during the off-year elections, the Congress has always changed hands. The Senate has always changed hands because they count on people not coming out to vote. Well, guess what? I think the MAGA Republicans are going to be in for an unpleasant, shocking surprise. People are angry. People are suffering. People are hurting. Congress decided to go on their Thanksgiving traditional vacation and say to heck with people who need SNAP benefits and food stamps and emergency help. We're not going to help them. We're not going to do it. To heck with them. We're going to be out of town until then. And you know what? It's the Democrats' fault. It's the Democrats' fault because they won't vote the way that we want them to vote. They won't vote to take health care away from 50 plus million Americans. They won't vote for us to take Social Security away from the millions and millions of Americans who worked and put their hard-earned money into Social Security so as they advanced in age, they would have, quote unquote, a nest egg to retire with. They're angry because the Democrats didn't vote with them on 13 different occasions. Why should they? Meanwhile, they were out partying and at special events. So this article for The Hill was written by Caroline McKell. Quote, voters are heading to the polls Tuesday to weigh in on critical races electing governors, mayors, and more as observers look for clues about the national mood heading into next year's midterms. Well, the mood is somber. There shouldn't be any hesitancy as to what the mood is like. Inflation is up. Grocery prices are up. People have over 1+ million people have been fired from their jobs under the guise of, they want to call it, what do they want to call it? Oh, layoffs. They're not layoffs. They've just been fired. There's no quite beautiful way to phrase it. They've been fired. And I'm going to bring a separate video because I'm going to talk about all the black people who have been fired at CBS. Now, one white person has been, quote unquote, laid off. Even Gayle King can't stomach CBS no more. And she announced that she would not be returning as her contract is coming to an end. No, Gayle King didn't want to be fired. That's why Gayle King is leaving. See, I cut through all the niceties and I just deal with hardcore facts here on Tyrone Bowman Live. This is the kind of program that's up in your face. We're not playing over here. This is not a game. This is not a joke. We're not going to pacify you. We're not placating because people's lives are at stake. People can't pay their rent. They can barely afford to put food on the table. They're having a hard time working 1 to 3 jobs, suffering from mental fatigue and physical exhaustion, coming home, not being able to really do what they want to do. And they look at their paychecks and they're so discouraged because they're trying to figure out how many hours did they work and how much money did they take. So New Jersey and Virginia are holding high stakes elections for governor. Among other top posts in New York City, Democratic nominee Sirhan Mandani is running against former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Mandani is the independent candidate, and Cuomo is the traditionally Democratic candidate. And MAGA Republican, the founder of the Guardian Angels, Curtis Sewell, to succeed outgoing Mayor Eric Adams. California voters, meanwhile, will weigh in on a new set of congressional maps pushed by California Governor Gavin Newsom, who's a Democrat. So what's in stake for tomorrow's election? Here are the key races to watch in the critical election. In Virginia, the Old Dominion is holding elections for governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and the House of Delegates. Let's get that straight. They're vying to elect a governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and the House of Delegates. Former Representative Abigail Spanger, the Democrat from Virginia, is running against the lieutenant governor, Winsome Earl Sears, a Republican. Since Glenn Youngkin, probably the present governor, is term limited. Polling has shown Spanberger with a comfortable lead over Earl Sears. Now, let me tell you who these two candidates are. Abigail Spanberger is the Democratic candidate for governor. Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears, the MAGA Republican candidate, the African American woman candidate, she's running as a MAGA candidate. She's the only black person, female woman, in the gubernatorial race. And let me tell you what the problem is. And I know a lot of my friends and associates I have, they call themselves MAGA Republicans and things of that nature. That's your prerogative. That's your pejorative. I have no qualms with you being a Republican or MAGA Republican, whatever you want to call yourself. You can vote your own conscience. But black people are not going to come out en masse and vote for the black woman that's a MAGA Republican. It's not going to happen, whether they agree with the platform that the Democratic candidate, Abigail Spanberger, has or not. The NAACP endorsed her over the black person. Why did the NAACP endorse the Democratic candidate? Because the MAGA candidate, Abigail, who's the current lieutenant, and the MAGA candidate, she represents, her name is Winsome Earl Sears. She represents MAGA. So in order for her to get elected, she has to appeal to the MAGA base. And you know how the MAGA base feels about black people. Come on here. We're not going to play. We're not going to play. I said, you know how the MAGA base feels about black people. They don't like black people. And they definitely don't like black people running for the top seat down in a traditionally all-white state, Virginia. And they're definitely not going to vote for her. So in order for her to become the governor, she would have to appeal to them and agree to everything that they want, and they're still not going to like her. I said, and they still are not going to like her. I was watching some political coverage over the weekend, and some of the podcasters and people were asking, well, how come black people won't vote for the black candidate? Why should they? For what reason? Give a plausible reason why black people down in Virginia should vote for the MAGA Republican candidate. Why? What's the incentive? What's the advantage? What's in it for them when you know as a Republican governor, she's going to do every and anything that she can to hurt people, especially Democrats? She's not going to look out for their interest. Inflation's going to go up. Taxes are going to go up. Budgets are going to be slashed. SNAP benefits are going to come to an end. She's going to have to toe the line. Because if she doesn't, they'll find a way to get rid of her. So now, the Democratic candidate is at a 3% to Earl Sears at 43%. So Abigail Spanberger is going into tomorrow's gubernatorial election very strong. It remains to be seen if she can pull it off. But the GOP Virginia Lieutenant Governor and her party have sought to tie Spanberger to a scandal that has swirled around Jay Jones, the Democratic challenger to Virginia Attorney General Jason Myers, in the final stretch of the race. Well, what else would they do? Sleaze ball politics. Sleazy. trashy, tabloid. They have nothing else to run on. What are they going to run on? The governor's record? No, they're going to vote against the current governor's record. And that's why individuals are going to come out en masse. Jones has faced blowback over resurfaced text messages from 2022, in which he talked about shooting former Virginia House Speaker Todd Gilbert and suggested Gilbert and his wife were, quote, breeding little fascists, end quote. Isn't it amazing how these sleazy Republicans can dig up crap from the past, but when you dig up crap from them, they're playing foul. They're not playing by the rules. That's the problem with the Democrats. You're all too nice. You're playing too nice with them. I told you all before, I could never be a politician because I would dig up so much trash and dirt and garbage on my opponent. You'll be able to slice it, dice it, bake it, fry it, saute it, and serve it up for the whole nation. I wouldn't show my Republican opponent any mercy whatsoever. Even if we debated, I wouldn't be civil during the debate. I'll be just as unruly and uncooperative as they were during the presidential debate that took place. You can't be merciful to your enemies. Cut that foolishness out. That's why the nation is in trouble. That's why people are in trouble. They're trying to take religious jargon and religious biblical things and try to put it in the natural sphere of life, and it will not work. Politics is a dirty game. And if they want to dig up stuff from the past about her and use it against her going into the final hours of the campaign. Don't play with her. The same way that her people are not playing with Abigail, don't play with her either. Tit for tat. I said tit for tat. That's how it's going to be. There'll be no turning the other cheek in the games of politics. Jones has since apologized for the text messages. He's also looked to nationalize the race, tying Mayers to President Trump. A decision HQ polling average of the race shows Mayers just ahead of Jones, 47% to 45%. Well, that's a 2% margin. How many outlandish, outrageous things have these MAGA Republicans said? The MAGA Republicans do not care, y'all. See, y'all keep trying to be nice to them. The Democrats have found that out going into the shutdown. No matter what you have tried to do to appease them, to work with them, to pacify them, they will still be mean, evil, bitter, hateful, vindictive people. And they want people to go along with it. Why? Because they think because they won a couple of elections that gives them the majority to say and do whatever they want. So controversy has also rocked Republicans in Virginia lieutenant governor's race as well. But I want to get back to the Republican GOP candidate. Yeah, let's talk about her. Let's get back to Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. Just because her campaign has not tied her directly into the political ads, but you're still responsible for them, lady, because you had to sanction it in order for it to go forward. The campaign chairman doesn't work for himself. Your campaign chairman works for you. So everything that goes on with the campaign, she has to be held responsible for it, positive or negative. And going into the midterm elections, understand that the Republicans do not have a plausibility factor to try to justify what's been going on in this nation. They just don't have it. All the endorsements that they get, all the campaigning, all the smoke and mirrors, all the evasive, not answering direct questions are not going to work this time. Republican John Reed refused to end his candidacy earlier this year when Republicans found a social media account that had been linked to Reed who shared sexually explicit content of men. John, you should have been out of the race a long time ago. If there had been a Democrat they would have made 10,000 ads. What type of candidate do they want? They don't care about the moral factor of people anymore. They just want to win. So the candidate is allegedly a pervert, but they want that person in office. Now listen to this. I want you to listen to this. I can't make this up. Isn't the MAGA Republican Party, there's no more GOP, it's the MAGA Republican Party. Aren't they anti-LGBTQ plus? Aren't they the family values candidate? LGTB, I may have the letters kind of confused, but you know what I'm talking about. Aren't they supposed to be the family values party? Aren't they the ones who condemn and judge the Democrats for every act of what they call to be immoral? Aren't they judging people with alternative lifestyles all across the board? But you got the log cabin Republicans, who are closed and closeted gay people that they don't want to talk about in their party. Reid, MAGA Republican John Reid, who is gay, has said the account isn't his and that he's being discriminated against due to his sexuality. Not going to work. Reid is running against Democrat Ghazala Hazmi in a race polls also suggest is close. Isn't it amazing how they want to pull and play that game now? Ain't nobody discriminating against him because of his sexual preference. It's a political ploy. This is what these people do. What about all the gay political candidates that they have condemned and judged and sent them to hell? What? What about the evangelical, so-called conservative candidates who got caught up in all kind of mess and they still put them in office? Y'all can't have it both ways. The Supreme Court is going to take up the issue and they're going to overturn it. So you all better get ready. Of same-sex marriage in the nation. That's going to be the next big agenda ruling coming down from the Supreme Court. They are going to overturn it. Oh, it's going to happen. And I got news for you. In the Democratic Party, in the Republican Party, in the Independent Party, in the Socialist Party, you have all kinds of people from all walks of life, cultures, ethnicities, who do not subscribe to what they call the traditional way of life. So there is no discrimination going on here against John Reid. He got caught. He doesn't want to admit it. With them, the name of the game is deny, deny, lie, lie, deny, deny, deny. Control of the House of Delegates is also at play Tuesday as Republicans look to flip Democrats' 5-148 majority. Y'all better get out there and stop playing games. Come out with rage. Come out with anger and go into the voting booth and vote against them. The same way they've been voting against y'all ever since the new administration took office. Congress needs to change. They have shown you they care nothing about everyday people. You've seen the smug look on their faces. You've seen the pride. You've seen the narcissistic attitudes they've had. All in the name of we are the majority. Look at the farmers begging and pleading for help when the farmers voted against their own interest. Now they're on Instagram and TikTok and all the other places with all kinds of videos begging Washington for help. Well, you did have help. I said y'all did have help. But y'all thought y'all were hurting our Latino brothers and sisters, and you hurt yourself. And now the agriculture industry is suffering greatly. Just like the majority of our Latino brothers and sisters, they voted against now former Vice President Kamala Harris, thinking they were hurting her. You saw it all. I will vote for Donald Trump, all the dancing and singing and all across the country. But how well did it work out for you? It worked against you. You were used as pawns in the game of chess, and you lost. You got a chance to do the right thing going into the midterm elections and even tomorrow. And in New Jersey, there's a contentious gubernatorial race going on right now. MAGA Republican, Jack Ciattarelli is hoping to change his party's fortunes in the Garden State and defeat Democratic Mickey Sherrill to succeed term-limited Governor Phil Murphy. Make no mistake about it. Jack Ciattarelli is not playing a game with y'all in the Garden Keystone State. You can mess around if you want to. You can take him lightly if you want to. He's got these slick ads running, trying to make himself appear to be a moderate candidate when in actuality he is not. The slick ads have condemned and judged everything that, that his opponent, Mickey Sherrill, has done. He's proven to you all that he's 100% pro-MAGA. You've heard the presidential endorsement that he has received. And should he become the next governor of Virginia, he's going to show you exactly who he is. I said he's going to show you exactly how he is. Y'all can mess around and play games if you want to. If you think what's going on in the country is hard now, you don't know what hardship is going to be like when you get a Republican governor in New Jersey. He definitely is going to make people pay because he's showing you already. Recent elections have shown Democrats can't take the state for granted. You better not take it for granted, Democrats. Wake up. Independents, wake up. Get out there and handle your business on tomorrow. Don't sit around and take things for granted. Forget about the poll numbers. Polls lie. The only time the MAGA Republicans love the poll numbers as if they're in their favor, then they're happy. But if they're not in their favor, then they call it fake news. Everything is fake when they don't like it. So whenever something is going against them, it's got to be fake. But if it's what they like, then it's accurate. Out and handle your business on tomorrow. Early voting is already off the chains in New Jersey. Over 1 million people have already voted. Now, what are you going to do in New Jersey come tomorrow? Are you going to sit around and complain and whine and cry? Or are you going to get out there and handle your business at the voting polls? Murphy beat Ciattarelli for re-election by just 3 points in 2021. So this ain't his first time at the rodeo. This is a revenge campaign on the part of Ciattarelli. So Murphy beat him in 2021, and former Vice President Kamala Harris's winning margin in November has only about 6 points. Republicans are hoping to make the governor's race a referendum on continued Democratic governance as voters there grapple with rising utility costs and affordability concerns. Whose fault is it? Because Governor Murphy has done everything that he possibly can to help people as the governor of New Jersey. Whose fault is it that the utility costs are off the chains? Contact a public utility commission and go online and look up the statistics. Billionaires, the majority of them who are Republicans and MAGA, They have increasingly hijacked the market so that their candidate can have favorability going into the elections. This is why most folk give up even before they get started, because they don't understand the relative importance of not allowing your opponent to have the upper hand. I would have been hollering and screaming all over New Jersey if I was a candidate. There would have been no rest. Every day I would have been on the campaign trail. 2 and 3 and 4 campaign stops per day, the weekends included. My opponent would be forced to be out on the campaign trail. I'd go to every county, whether they love me, loathe me, or hated me, I'm coming anyway. Every school, every town hall meeting, I'm showing up. I'm showing up at every event. And I'm going to listen to what people say. That's how you win elections. Affordability concerns in the Garden State are there because you have greedy entrepreneurs who raise the prices on everything. Meanwhile, Democrats have sought to nationalize the race and tie Citarelli to Trump. Well, you don't have to tie him to the current president. He's already tied there politically. He's a MAGA Republican. That's who he is. Deal with it. That's who he is. You don't have to tie him there. He already has the presidential endorsement. He is a MAGA Republican. He's towing the line. He's going to go along with any and everything that the Republicans go along with. Democrats have slammed the Trump administration for freezing funds for the Hudson River Tunnel project, known as the Gateway Tunnel, and suggested the Republican former assembly member wouldn't be able to stand up to the president when needed. He has no intentions of standing up. He's going to placate and go along with the status quo. And the reason why you're not going to hear this kind of talk coming from the mainstream media, because the mainstream media is owned by too many MAGA Republicans, and they have told the talking heads, you say what we tell you to say, or you'll be fired, just like we fired those black people. They don't want independent thinking, talking heads working for their corporations. They want them to do what they say. Democrats are feeling cautiously optimistic about their chances Tuesday, though concerns over Black Latino Hispanic voter turnout has rocked the Sherrill campaign. Win anyway. What is your mindset like? Don't plan those celebration victories. Don't plan any celebration parties. Win the election first. Your best hope for democracy in New Jersey is to elect the Democratic candidate. You'll go ahead and mess around if you want to, and I'm going to put this back up in your face if Citarelli wins, and I'm going to tell y'all I told you what not to do, and then you turn around and you did it anyway. A decision desk headquarters polling average shows Sherrill at 50% and Citarelli at nearly 46%. Forget about that. Forget about the polls. Just get out tomorrow morning, get up early, do what you have to do. Let's go over to New York City and the highly contested mayoral race. And this is surely going to be one for the ages. The reason why the current mayor was rejected by New Yorkers, because he's just misled them on so many issues and so many things up in New York City, they weren't going to put him back in office anyway. Independents, moderate Democrats, and even Republicans are racing to give Cuomo a boost over the frontrunner Mandani in the final stretch of the New York City mayoral election to succeed Adams. Now, why would MAGA Republicans be coming to Cuomo's aid and they can't stand him? Because they hate Mandani. That's why. They don't a bit more want Cuomo to be the governor of New York City again than they wanted him to be there in the first place. Independents and moderate Democrats, handle your business. The big time MAGA billionaires have poured billions of dollars into the mayoral campaign race for Cuomo. And they're glad they take their money. Adams endorsed him because Adams is mad because an outsider won the Democratic primary. And they didn't choose him. He's a bit more concerned about Andrew Cuomo than the Republicans are. Because pretty soon, Adams is going to be in his new job as an ambassador. And kudos to him. That's an important position to have. There's nothing wrong with that. Ever since Ma'am Danny trounced the former New York governor in the Democratic mayoral primary, polling has shown steady momentum in the New York State Assembly member who would become the city's first millennial and first Muslim mayor if elected. That's the problem right there. They don't want New York to have a Muslim mayor. See, I'm going to tell you what they're saying behind closed doors. Hold on, I think I lost my my feed. Let me get back. All right, I'm back. I'll tell you what they're saying behind closed doors. They don't want a Muslim elected as the mayor in New York City. There's racial prejudice there. Ethnic bias. Yes, it's true. Now, for all the Muslims in New York City, get behind your candidate and vote for him. See, the thing about MAGA, they can have 1,001 differences when it comes to everything, but they'll vote for the MAGA Republican candidate in a heartbeat. As long as they show this, as long as they keep putting up the white power fist everywhere they go to let them know that we stand in solidarity with you, they'll vote for them. That's what that fist represents, white power, white supremacy. The appalling silence of good people who sit by and do nothing is why tyrannical people can do what they do. Whether the man is a Muslim, a Baptist, Methodist, Presbyterian, can he get the job done as mayor? That's the question. New York has had Democratic mayors and they've had Republican mayors. Maybe it's time for a change. Ma'am Danny has been buoyed by several different dynamics. A campaign focused on affordability that's resonated with voters, offering a vision when much of the party has been stuck in a largely anti-Trump messaging. That's the wrong message. You got to have something else, people, outside of being of anti-Trumpism. That does not win elections. I told y'all before, you don't want to accept it. Donald Trump is the president of the United States. He won the presidential election, whether you all like it or not. He is the current president. There's a lot of respect that goes to the office of the presidency. I don't have to like a person's politics. I can disagree with someone politically, but still respect them as a human being. That's what politics has turned. It's turned into a nasty, hateful, vindictive retribution business because people hate the person. We all have differences and differentiations when it comes to everything in life. When people are married, husbands and wives have differences. You want chicken, he wants steak. You want to go to your mother's house, he wants to watch the football game. Differences. You want to dress up and go someplace, he just wants to wear casual wear and go into the store and differences. You want a living room set now, and he's saying wait until it goes on sale. No, you want to buy it at full price. Does it mean that y'all hate each other as a couple? No, you just have differences of opinions when it comes to many things. And that's how the game of politics should be played. Differences when it comes to political ideologies, but you still have civil respect for each other, but that can't coexist anymore. Hate is the name of the game. So the Republican, Cite, is playing spoiler to Cuomo, and recent endorsements from longtime holdouts such as House Leader Hakeem Jeffries from New York. Politicians such as Adams, moderate Democratic Representative Tom Sleazy, and President Trump have offered nods to Cuomo in the last few weeks, though it may not be enough to overcome his deficit against man Danny. So why are Republicans cautiously optimistic for Andrew Cuomo? Why? And you know what? Cuomo may win the election. You never know. It's nothing to take lightly. There's a strong possibility that he can win. One other race to watch is in the city of New York is the Manhattan District Attorney's race. Incumbent Alvin Bragg, a Democrat who secured a conviction against Trump over a 2016 hush money probe, is running against Republican Maud Moran. And you know they pumped a lot of money into that race, because that is total vengeance right there. Total. And y'all better listen up. Because if Moran becomes the next district attorney of New York City, you all have not seen what retribution is about. Y'all can let Tish James go down if you want to. You can let Alvin Bragg not be reelected as the district attorney if you want to. And if the MAGA Republican, Moran, is elected as the new district attorney in the Manhattan district, whew, all hell's going to break loose. I said all hell is going to break loose. Meanwhile, out in California voters are weighing in on a key ballot measure that could give Democrats 4 of 5 pickup opportunities in the House next year, as both parties race to redraw maps in states they control ahead of the 2026 midterms. Guess what? Proposition 50 would allow lawmakers to temporarily bypass the state's independent redistricting commission and pass a new Democratic-friendly congressional map before 2026. Do it. Do to them what they've been doing down in Texas and all these other states. Gerrymandering, redistricting. They hurriedly passed the laws to make it happen. Do the same thing out in California. Take away the seats from the Republicans. Get the majority of the advantage going into the 2020 midterm elections. Let them cry foul all they want, because they were cheering and celebrating and dancing when they did it down in Texas, the Lone Star State. You know, they do everything big down in Texas. The measure stipulates that the commission will resume its role overseeing the drawing of California's House map after the 2030 U.S. Census. Vote for Proposition 50. Make it happen. Proposition 50 was born out of a broader redistricting battle that began in Texas, I just said it, and has stretched across the country. The White House and national Republicans have pushed Texas, Missouri, and Indiana and more to redraw their congressional maps before next year's elections as the GOP braces for a challenging midterm environment. Listen, Texas, Missouri, Indiana, they're pushing for it, redistricting, but they don't want it to happen in California. They don't want it to happen in other states, but it's okay for it to happen where y'all want it to happen, but nobody else can play the same game. What type of stupidity is that? That is ignorance going out to sea, never to return. What's good for the Republicans is good for the Democrats. You did it to the Democrats, touche, right back at you. Democrats, you can't play nice no more. Where has niceness gotten y'all? Look at how many elections y'all have lost. You lost the House. You lost the Senate by being nice, turning the other cheek, trying to placate, trying to get along with your nemesis. And they cussing you out behind the scenes, calling you every foul name under the sun. Yeah, y'all better do what we say. The Republican redistricting push turned into a national tilt for tat. There you go, tit for tat. A tisket a tasket, baby. Tisket a tasket. Tit for tat. You did it to us, we're going to do it to you. So the tit for tat, as Democrats have looked to California and elsewhere to try to neutralize the gains Republicans are expected to make. And we get to Pennsylvania in a minute. So what was initially seen as a big gamble for California, Governor Gavin Newsom, the Democrat, and he may run in 2028, has turned into what is lining up to be a clear win, as polling has shown the ballot initiative projected to pass Tuesday. Kudos, particularly in the absence of a competitive opposition campaign against the ballot measure. A Tuesday win would bode well for Newsom, who's long been viewed as a key 2028 contender and who has recently left the door open to a White House run. Newsom should run in 2028 for the presidency. Why not? You need a strong political candidate in the Democratic Party who can unify the party. It's time. Proposition 50, pass it. Meanwhile, in Pennsylvania, it's all going down. Voters will be weighing in on retention races as the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, with Justices David Wyatt, Christine Donahue, and Kevin Dougherty, all Democrats, running for 10-year terms. If you got any sense, you'll put them back in there. One judge recently won re-election. I cannot mention the name, but she deserved the win. Vote for David Wyatt, Christine Donahue, and Kevin Dougherty. You better have some Democratic judges on the bench when your sons and daughters have to go before them. Because if you get those Republican judges on the bench, your child is doomed even before they get to the courts. You hear me, black people? I said, did you heard me? Are you listening? Let me use my best prison language. Is you listening to me? Are you comprehending? Get out there and handle your business. Wyatt, Donahue, Dougherty. Vote for them. The state Supreme Court has a 5-2 Democratic edge, meaning the balance of power is on the line Tuesday. Retention races have attracted millions of dollars, though it's usually difficult to out incumbents during retention elections. Don't pay that no mind. Get out and handle your business. The millions and millions of dollars coming from the opposition team is being funneled, being supported by the MAGA Republican billionaires. They want to control the courts because they want to control the prisons, because they want to control the prison industrial complex at the expense of your sons and your daughters. You don't think I know what I'm talking about? I know exactly what I'm talking about. Mess around and don't handle your business. You're going to be mad, you're going to be angry, you're going to be bitter, you're going to be upset because going to Popeyes was more important for you. Going down to the weed place and get some more hair was more important than going to cast your vote first. This is not a game. Because many of y'all in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, you didn't even vote in the past presidential election. Oh, look, I don't want to hear that crap. You didn't vote, and you know you didn't vote. Because it didn't mean anything to y'all. But you're crying now that your SNAP benefits might not reach you. You're crying now that Medicare, Medicaid might be cut off. Oh, yeah, you're crying. You're upset now because your Section 8 vouchers might not get renewed. when you should have put business first. And all this other stuff should have been second. I don't come over here to play games. This is not let's make a deal. This is not The Price is Right. This is not a game show on Tyrone Bowman Live. This is information that you can use. Viable sources. It's educational, it's uncompromising. Only one incumbent, a Democratic appellate judge, has lost the retention race since their introduction in 1968, according to Sabato's crystal ball from the University of Virginia Center for Politics. And don't forget the district attorney's race in Philadelphia tomorrow. Don't you forget it. Larry Krasner is up for re-election. You got the Republican candidate, Dugan, the former Democrat who got mad and angry because he did not win the Democratic primary. Now, the very next day, he became a MAGA Republican. And the MAGA Republicans are financing his campaign. The MAGA Republicans are spearheading his platform. The MAGA Republicans are pouring in hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars into his campaign because they want to control the city. They want to control the politics. They want your sons, listen, my brothers and sisters, they want your sons and your daughters locked up in prison. They're going to hand down the harshest charges and mandatory sentences not allowed by law to make sure black people suffer. I said to make sure that black people suffer. You don't know what unlaw and order is like until you put that MAGA Republican in there as the district attorney in Philadelphia. Y'all think it's a game? Selling the weed and stuff on the street, they're going to think that you are the drug cartel that brings all the drugs into the nation. By the time they get finished with you, they'll overcharge you, and they're going to make sure that their judges convict you because they're going to make the side deals with the district attorney's office behind closed doors. And you'll go into court, and you'll just be going through the formalities. But the decision has already been made. And y'all know y'all don't have no money to get anybody out on bail. You don't have nobody to get real decent lawyers, and the public pretenders are not going to fight for your child. Now play around if you want to in Philadelphia on tomorrow. Whether you like Krasner or not, you better put him back in office or you're going to wake up the day after and you're going to be sorry. Down in Texas, did you hear what I'm saying, Philadelphia? Handle your business tomorrow. More than a dozen candidates are vying to succeed former Representative Sylvester Turner, Democrat, who represented Texas's 18th congressional district in Houston and died in March. God rest the soul of the former representative. Among those running to fill the remainder of Turner's term include former Houston City Council member Amanda Edwards, a Democrat, Harris County Attorney Christian Menifee, a Democrat, and State Representative Yolanda Jones, a Democrat. Now, what you going to do? Who you going to put in office? A candidate needs to receive at least half of the vote in order to avoid a runoff. If no candidate outright wins the race, the two top vote getters head into a runoff for the seat. Regardless of whether there's a runoff, Democrats are expected to retain Turner's seat, and refilling it will mean Republicans can't afford any defections on passing legislation. It doesn't matter. Don't take nothing for granted. Never underestimate your enemy. You better get that book, The Art of War, by Sun Tzu. Get it and read it. You better read 48 Laws of Power. You better read Think and Grow Rich and The Master Key to Riches. Pay attention to what's going on. In fact, this book right here. Read it. Read this book, Think and Grow Rich. It'll change your mindset forever. I read, and reread, especially as a criminal justice law student. I do nothing but read and study when I'm not in front of this camera. Becoming an advocate, a voice for the voiceless, an advocate for those who are true victims of crime, an advocate for those who have been wrongfully accused, an advocate against excessive, unlawful sentencing. You better have strong advocates to speak and fight on your behalf. Down in Mississippi, you all know what Mississippi is all about. There'll be no tranquility nor peace down in Mississippi. A redistricting battle has offered Democrats a chance to break Republicans' supermajority in the state Senate as the party looks to make inroads in the South. Now, there's plenty of voter intimidation going on down there. Historically speaking, Mississippi has been one of the most notorious states in the Union for everything bad. And why the Church of God in Christ still has its national headquarters down in Mississippi, I don't understand why. You need to take it and all the millions and millions of dollars, the hundreds of millions of dollars that you're pumping into that economy down there and put it in a city that appreciates culture. Yes, I said it. Mississippi was required to implement new maps after a 3-judge panel ruled the previous state legislative map violated the Voting Rights Act. These people don't care about violating the Voting Rights Act. As long as folks can get away with it, they'll keep doing it. The new map has given Democrats the opportunity to compete in a handful of districts, though the state legislature is firmly Republican dominated. So what? Who cares? Who cares? What you Democrats need to do instead of everybody just trying to become the person, y'all need to get one strong candidate and rally around that candidate and unify your party and start pumping money into that candidate and show the Republicans what true democracy is about. Y'all know what's down in Mississippi. You cannot play with those people down there. They still think the Confederacy is at war down in the Deep South. That's where the Klan was born, in the Deep South, down in Nashville, Tennessee. The U.S. Supreme Court last month reheard a case over Louisiana's congressional map and the extent to which race should be considered when drawing election maps. With the conservative majority, there ain't no conservative majority. It's the MAGA way or no way. Seeing inclined to restrict its usage, that opinion, which is expected to be released next year, could have implications on Mississippi state maps and other ongoing redistricting legislation. So how are you going to handle the election going on tomorrow throughout the Union? Handle your business in every state. Do not vote illegally. Bring your proper ID when you're going to the voting polls. You know what you're supposed to do? Do it. Bring your real ID if you have one, your driver's license, your social security number, in some instances, your birth certificate. Bring all your certified documentation with you when you go to vote. Shut them down, because they're going to ask a lot of stupid questions. There you have it. It's time for me to end this video right here. I'll be back later on with some other news and some updates on some other stories that's happening around the country and around the world. So until then, never surrender, never quit.